I'd like to call this November 7th council meeting to order. Would everybody please rise for a moment of silence, and let's remember all those who passed away during the month. Please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Dillon, you want to do roll call, please?
Mr. Pezza.
Here.
Ms. Cullen. Here. Ms. Rodriguez.
Here.
Mr. Gorman.
Present.
Ms. Figueroa.
Here.
Mr. Johnson is absent. Mr. Catroci.
Present.
Mr. Di Giuseppe.
Here. So we have a lot on the agenda this evening, but I don't think there's anything more important than having two of our newest representatives here, and our State Senator Steve Santicero and our new State Representative Tina Davis is here this evening to present the borough and the theater and the Grundy Foundation with a couple checks. And I always said, sitting here for 21 years, we always supported people that support us. And I think that Tina and Steve didn't even take over representing Bristol Borough yet, and has done an extraordinary job with bringing $3.3 million to Bristol Borough. So we owe you a great deal. So with that, I'm going to have our state senator and our state rep come up. I have an extra microphone here. Come up, you just come up here.
Up here.
Come on up.
Come on
Come on down. There's this.
Hi, I'm Betty Rodriguez.
So Betty Rodriguez, Steve, I don't know if you want to meet everybody. It's Betty Rodriguez, Maria Figueroa, Louis Catroci, Michael Gorman, my son, Greg Pezza, and Lorraine Collins. I think, Tina, you know everybody, right? So I'm going to have Gene Williams come up from the Grundy Foundation, and Amy's here. Amy, whoever you want to bring up with you. You want to bring the whole crew?
Yeah.
Come on up. Jeff, you want to come up?
No, you're fine, you're fine.
So these grants were, I guess, Steve, you'll explain everything, right? You can take this mic.
All right, well, thank you, Ralph, and I want to thank everyone here in Bristol and Chief as well, because we have a grant to acknowledge about that as well. But these are capital grants from the state of Pennsylvania that are intended to help very significant economic development projects in communities like Bristol Borough. The Bristol Riverside Theater, I know Tina and I spoke about this at some length. It was a no-brainer for us because of the importance that that theater plays here in the borough. It is an anchor on Radcliffe Street. It's important to continue to make Bristol a destination, not just for fine dining, which of course it is, but also for entertainment. And obviously Bristol does a great job, I know, with the doo-wop every year, but so many other public events. But then to have the theater here in town too, and to be able to draw people to that and be such a cultural asset for the borough is so critically important. So I want to thank everyone and the Grundy Foundation associated with the theater. The second piece, which is a neighborhood redevelopment piece, and Tina, I want you to talk about this too, because this piece is really important. And this goes back to a few months ago, when Rose Winchell, my chief of staff, and I, and Sharon Sticker, who is my local government director, we came down to Bristol and we toured the borough with Ralph, and we looked at some areas that needed some help, and in particular these neighborhoods where there was blight, frankly, and where we need to kind of clean those areas up because they're in the heart of town. And being able to do that will make a huge difference to that whole downtown area. And so that's why getting that money to help do that was so critically important. And when Tina and I discussed that, we said, "Oh, that's got to be a priority as well for Bristol." So we were really grateful. And then, last thing I want to say before I turn it over to Tina is I want to thank Governor Wolf. He's got just a couple of months left on his term now. But I can tell you, in the 4 years that I've been a state senator, on these projects and in many others before that, he has been a real partner to try to help Bucks County. And every time we've gone to him and said, "Look, Governor, we have some really important things that we want to do in these communities," he said, "Absolutely, that makes complete sense." And so I'm really grateful to him as well. But it starts with your leadership, honestly, because without your that would have not have been on my radar screen had we not had that discussion that day and had we not visited those neighborhoods. So I want to thank you, Ralph, too, because it takes someone who has a vision for the town, which you clearly have, and I know the entire council and the mayor share as well. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Coming to Bristol Borough since my kids were very little, and they're in their 20s now, and I've enjoyed walking along the water, going to the theater, and also going to the library. So it is my thrill and pleasure that I'm finally here, hopefully tomorrow, representing all of you. But I want to congratulate all of the council, the mayor, and Ralph, because you guys all had a vision, and you knew what you wanted. You didn't let anyone stop you, which I love. Sometimes it's hard, but that's the way it goes. And that's why we're here today. And congratulate all of you. Jeff, I've worked with for many years, and Jeff, you're great. And I really appreciate everything all of you do. Thank you.
Thanks, Dana.
And let me just add, I'll be back here tomorrow morning with my daughter Nancy. And I only point that out is because Nancy now works for Governor Murphy over in New Jersey. But when she was a little girl, we used to come to Grundy because she would ice skate there. And I spent many Saturday mornings freezing in Grundy watching Nancy and her friends ice skate. So it's going to be kind of a nice return for her as well.
So I'm going to have Amy wants to speak on behalf of the theater.
Yeah, and actually, Jean, if you want to kick it off, because Bristol Riverside Theater would not exist without the Grundy Foundation, so.
Dean, you want to go first?
Council President and Redevelopment Authority Chair DiGiuseppe, council members, State Senator Santosario and State Representative Tina Davis, and ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to put a little bit of background on, our relationship, that is the Grundy Foundation, with the theater. Understanding that it was a building built in 1937, fell in a little bit of hard times back in 1966, I'm sure many of you may know, purchased by the foundation in 1984, closed, reopened in 1986 with the tenant, Bristol Riverside Theater. I think our relationship is a lot more than landlord-tenant, though. I liken it to sort of a parent-child adoption, if you will. It's important that the theater be recognized not as a natural child, if you will, of the senator. That would be the library and museum, right? There are mandates in the will. So a lion's share of our budget then goes to library and museum, naturally. But we've adopted the theater, and 10% of our budget goes annually to the theater. That's about $250,000 that I write each year checks to the theater to maintain 4 properties in the borough. We're proud to do it. They've earned that right. So why are we here? Why is the foundation involved with theater? Well, I like theater. I like arts and culture. But though I think back then and even now, we see the investment potential. And so like children, we need to invest in them, give them a chance to grow. Frankly, back in 1984, Bristol Borough deserved a lot better, and they still do today, the borough. Knowing, too, that the theater is responsible for $4.8 million coming into the local economy. It's a no-brainer for us, The other thing that I really like, I like to consider, if you will, the blocks between 600 and 100. I call that the golden mile. So the foundation owns the 600 block, right? Museum, library. And by the way, stay tuned for good news on the library. It's coming. I digress. The theater, on the other hand, is the 100 block. So if the foundation can maintain those two bookends, we can then draw people to Bristol Borough. And once people come here, we got them. We got the water, we got all the amenities. It just makes perfect sense. So in 2018, realizing what's been done over the last couple of years, we incentivized VRC to do a little bit more. Really having their dreams come true by redesigning a complete transformation of the building, the interior and the exterior. It's a $4.5 million project that we came up with 4 years ago. And what the foundation's looking to do is to commit another $1 million to the theater as a way of saying, hey, this is great, go for it. If you get that $1 million by the end of this year, fiscal year, December, we'll match you $1 million. And what I've been able to see, and tonight's an example of that, they're well on their way to getting that goal. So I dare say by the end of the year, I'll be writing a check for $1 million. It's worth the risk, it's worth the investment, that's why we're here, the Grundy Foundation. So the presentation tonight makes perfect sense. $2 million already in the coffers, with a lot more to go. So like a parent, we're proud of what the foundation, what the theater's grown to be. We now see it not as an adopted child necessarily, but as a real true partner. And we look forward to that dream of that new refurbished institution on the corner of Market and Radcliffe really becoming reality very, very soon. So thank you for all that the theater does, and thank you for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
So I'm Amy Kasar. I'm one of the two co-producing directors of the theater, for anybody who doesn't know me. And I'm here with Ken Kasar, the other co-producing director, and Keith Spencer, who's our board president. As Gene said, the theater opened in the mid-'80s, and the building has not been touched since then. So if you've sat in our seats, you know that some of them are falling apart on a daily basis. We have seats that get taken out of commission and can't ever go back. Our roof leaks. We're not very wheelchair accessible. The basement floods when the river rises. There's a lot of significant issues that need to be dealt with. The price tag has gone up a little bit. We're now at $5 million is what it's going to cost to do all of this. And I'm very excited to show you what it's going to look like when it's all done. If I can make this work. So it begins on Radcliffe Street with a new windowed entrance, so you'll be able to see straight through the building to the river rather than just having a brick front. Both entrances will be fully accessible. You'll come right down this ramp into the lobby. The theater bumps out a little bit to get us an upgraded sound system more compatible with what is today's standard, an increased concessions area, and then the patio will leave us, sorry, we went the other way. We're in the theater. The patio will leave us, and we'll have an expanded atrium out to the riverfront with an elevator. So we will actually be accessible upstairs and down, and the elevator will have a glass front, so you'll be able to see the river as you go up the stairs. It adds an atrium upstairs with additional restrooms, so those of you who've waited in very long lines, that will hopefully be abated, and wheelchair seats upstairs in the balcony, which are some of the best seats in the house, but at the moment are underutilized because people don't want to go up the stairs or can't go up the stairs. And then, of course, this additional space upstairs that can be meeting space, event space, workspace, to really use the building. And the main entrance will actually be on the other side of the building. So if you're coming from the river side, you won't need to go up the giant hill in order to go down the steps into the theater. You'll come right in at the grass level from the river side, which will also be an accessible entrance. So every piece of it will be accessible. So we're really excited to get going on this project and to share the new space with everybody. Gene laid out that the Grundy Foundation kicked this off with this incredibly generous $1 million matching grant, which we were then able to use to raise $1 million from individuals for the campaign. From there, Jeff Darwak at the Redevelopment Authority was able to help us with this grant process to match that $2 million with this $2 million, which got us to $4 million out of the 5 that we need to raise, which is unbelievable in less than a year, I think. And none of that would have happened if Senator Santasiero and Representative Davis had not understood the impact of this project and how important it was both to the theater and to the borough and to all of the visitors who come from the rest of Bucks County and the surrounding areas to be able to utilize the theater and get the benefit out of it. It would not have happened without them. And also Ralph, who helped push this through and has been such a supporter of the theater for so many years. So thank you to all of you who made this happen. And as Ralph suggested I mention, we're not there yet. We still have $1 million left to raise. And there are a lot of opportunities that come with naming rights to put your name on parts of the building and to get involved. And if anybody here today or watching on TV later is interested in getting involved in helping push us over the finish line to the $5 million that we need, please reach out to either me or Ken at the theater, and we would be delighted to tell you how you can get involved. And I know we're taking a lot of time, but I just want to pass the mic to Keith Spencer, our board president, for one last piece.
Happy to push anything?
I don't know what you're talking
To push anything, just talk? Okay. Very quickly, I just want to echo Amy's sentiments. We are thrilled to have this opportunity this evening. So on behalf of the staff and also the board of trustees, I'd like to thank the Grundy Foundation, Jean, all of your work as a partner, a true advocate for the theater. Jeff, your work in helping us actually stage ourselves for the grant was invaluable. Ralph, again, your support and leadership on the borough is definitely a partnership we could never do without. And Senator Santasiero, thank you for your time, and Representative Davis, we are definitely in your debt as well. Thank you very much.
We're going to come up here, and Steve and Tina will present you with a check. And somebody's going, you got pictures? Yep. Joe, you got a couple? Come on in. We'll be back for that one.
A couple of zeros. Don't try to cash this. This is a. I feel like that big man.
Are we blocking Ralph?
You don't want to block Ralph.
That's it.
Ralph too.
He's
Right there, Ralph. Back to your right.
Photo bomb by the council president.
All right, then we're going to do another one, so just hang in there. Thank you. Okay, we also, I'm going to have Councilman Catroci come up since it's the South Ward project. Jeff Darwick, if you could come up. We still have one more. There's still more. So we want to bring our chief of police up, and they have a check. Great. Ralph. you guys could just hang here 1 second.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Hang here a minute.
Okay.
You want to say anything?
Oh, sure. Well, first and foremost, thank you for the millions of dollars you're bringing to Bristol Borough. I mean, it's truly amazing when you put this in perspective, the dollar amount that's coming into this small little town on the river. You know I speak for all the residents and council when I say thank you. Like, we're beyond overwhelmed. The money going to the theater, as a former trustee of the theater board, I want to also thank you for the millions of dollars for the theater. I mean, people don't realize what a wonderful asset this theater is to our community and the economic impact it has with the amount of people that come into the theater every year. So that's just a tremendous amount. And when they get that project done, I mean, this is going to be the best theater in Pennsylvania, in my opinion. So I can't wait to see it. Meetings as mayor was obviously with the chief of police, and he said to me, I ran into, Senator Sanacero, and he said he has money for a police car. And I said, well, call him. And he said, when? I said, now. I said, we don't wait when we ask for money. So, he said, well, you think they're going to really come through? I said, they'll come through. So I thank you for the, money for the police car. It's well needed in this police department, and we look forward to a long-standing relationship with both of you. So thank you for everything.
Also thank Steve Sanacero, because this is I got to work with Steve as a state rep in the past, and then I did it as a senator, but now I do again. So it's really great, and it's easy, and we think alike, so thank you.
Well, Tina, I will say the same, obviously. You're a friend, you're a great representative for Bucks County and the Bristol area in particular. And actually, we look forward to being partners with you, Ralph, with the mayor, with council moving forward. There's a lot of great things in store for Bristol, I believe. The future is bright, and this is going to be an example for the rest of Bucks County, for all of our boroughs, how we can do things right and make a difference in our communities. And I'm really excited about that. I'm looking forward to doing that work. So thanks.
Thank you.
So I would just like to say, and hopefully tomorrow, since they were so generous to us, tomorrow that we go out and show them our support from Bristol Borough and re-elect both of them, because we need them in Bristol Borough. We need your leadership and representation for this town. So thank you.
Ralph, can I just
Don't let them down tomorrow.
Can I say one thing on that
Go ahead.
note? I don't think a lot of people realize, because Steve and Tina have been around so much lately, and we had such a good relationship with our other representatives as well, that they actually are going to become official soon, but it seems like you've been our reps for the last year with all the hard work that you've already been doing. Your presence is appreciated, and I know none of us had a doubt about how our partnership would go, but I do think it's important that we remember tomorrow and whenever else, that this is a team that we're willing to work with well, and we do work together well, so you certainly have my support, and hopefully the borough remembers that tomorrow and elsewhere in other years as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we want to bring up our friends at Grundy Towers. This is like Christmas tonight. I wanted to do this at the December meeting, but we did it in November, so we want to bring up the council first, the Grundy Towers Council. Michael? Joe, can we get a couple pictures?
I just want to say a few quick little things. 19 years ago, I ran for council 19 years ago. The best support I've ever had in this town are these ladies. The towers. Why? Because we have a good relationship. Oh, sorry. Because we have a good relationship with them. They know if they need something, we're there for them. Ralph and I go there constantly. Michael has been going there. They know who to call when they need something. We go to county, we go to wherever we have to go to get it. Merle has helped us. They've had some rough times when they needed a generator. And we try to do everything in our power to do to help them. Why? Because they're our seniors. They're the people that make up this town. If it wasn't for them, where would we all be? But we were invited, what was it, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, to the 50th year celebration. 50 years of Grundy Tower. Rachel and her crew always put on a great party. We dance, we do whatever we have to do to keep them happy. They make us happy. I love going there. But on that note, I also would like to say we then had bought them a clock. What was a clock? And then we went to give them plaques with their names on them, recognizing the 50 years of some of their people that have been working to keep the place going. I mean, people in the office could keep it going, but it's your own people that live with the other people, that know, the residents know who to go to when they need something, whether it's a bingo, what was it?
The basket.
Basket or whatever it is, just a little, can we get this? Sure, why not? We'll get it. Somehow, some way, we get it. But on that note, I'd like to thank everyone here for coming out, and whoever is not here, thank you anyway. We can't always forget all the other volunteers, because there's other people in the Grundy Towers that help other people. But there's just a crew, and I call it a crew because they always work hard to make sure things happen. And on that note, we always want to thank you. You know where we're at. We're here for you, always will be, and Mike will take it from there.
Once again, thank you.
Thank you.
We thought that it was really important, the fact that the building that is a structure that's strong in town, and there's many buildings you see at Keystone. So we thought it was very important to put in a permanent plaque to hang in there so that these ladies and council members could be recognized and become part of the structure that they created. So we, on behalf of council, we'd like to present this to you. The names that Grundy Towers established 1972, the council presidents. We have Marie Mitchell, Mary Mays, Betty Schreier, Rose Doms, Eleanor McIntyre, Eleanor Brzezinski, Juanita Petrino, thank you, Barbara McConnell, and Rachel Akins. So once again, we know all the work that they've done, and they've made it happen. We just really wanted to make it a more permanent piece of the building. And when we had mentioned about, council got together and talked about what would be an appropriate gift to recognize that, and that was the clock that was presented to you, because we think that you are just timeless and will continue to tick on and take care of everyone that comes to Grundy. Yes, and then we have a second plaque.
Well, let Rachel deal with that. That's another group.
Okay,
You want to say anything, Rachel?
thank you.
Yes, I'd like to thank council and Ralph for all the help, tremendous help you have given to Grundy Towers. We all appreciate it, we do. So thank you very much, and thank you for the plaque. Beautiful.
And then we have
So, why don't we get together so Joe can get a picture?
All right, and then we have another plaque, and we want to just recognize.
Barbara's here. Barb, who else is here?
Stacy.
Barbara and Stacy, come on up. This one,
No, it's you, Rachel. That's right on there.
Yeah.
No, right in front, that's good.
Where's Stacy?
there she is, over here. Okay, so this is, we recognize the managers also, established in 1972. Joanne McCarthy, Barbara Giolella, Sharon Kapsak, Bonnie Bascio, and Stacy Marsden. All these young, fine ladies do what they have to do to keep the towers going, and we appreciate everything you guys do.
You hold that.
Barb, gonna say anything? You got a mic?
They know how to give a party, let me tell you.
I just want to say one other thing, that on both the plaques, there obviously is room for the future, and also it gives the date when it started, but we didn't want to put the actual dates of your terms there, because it's not polite to ask the lady her age.
Thank you.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, you got it?
Just talk, thank everyone. This is a wonderful crew here. We've worked with all of them. Stacy? You've worked with him recently. I worked with him for 42 years, so.
42 years.
It's a great crew, wonderful building. Housing Authority is a wonderful organization to be able to do the things they can for the seniors, for living purposes. I thank you all. Thank you.
Call me for the next party. We'll fix it.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies. She said, give them to Rachel, but she said her name is spelled wrong.
Good night, guys. Good night.
I have one. I don't know.
Your mic, I don't know this mic.
That's okay, I'll come down.
Oh, okay. So just for the record, I know there was a lot of people involved in the Grundy Towers, past and present, but it's like my position, you get the president of council, but I'm only as good as the people that I surround myself with. So I know there's a lot of people that served under the presidents of the council of Grundy Towers, that without them, we wouldn't make this possible. So we owe everybody in that building a great deal of gratitude that helped on your boards and your commissions, because without them, it's like me, without this council, I wouldn't be sitting here and doing what I'm doing. So thank you, Barbara, thank you, because I know you put many, many years into that building. And it started with Joanne McCarthy, who was a very good friend of ours and family friend that passed away not too long ago. So let's remember her, too. Thank you. Start our... If you want to get into this, want to go first?
Good night, thank you.
So, people in the chamber can't see this on the screen, but the residents at home can see this. The borough's adopted a new safety system that's in place called Nixle, which is available in a lot of other communities. So myself, Council President, Mr. Dillon, the Chief, Merle Winslow, and Chief Slack got together for a bunch of meetings to kind of finalize the details on how we were going to structure this and set it up in town. And what Nixle is that it's a public safety community information system that's available to residents and visitors of Bristol Borough. This will notify you of police and fire notices. Say, God forbid, there's a fire on a specific block in town. You'll get a notice of the fire, not so you can run out and see what's going on, more or less avoid the area of, know that there's a road closure, that there's an event in town. People that are traveling into the borough, if they sign up for Nixle, they'll get notice of, the parade route, so please avoid certain streets. There's a tree lighting, please avoid the 100 block of Mill Street. There'll be flooding information for those that park down at the wharf. And it really is something that's going to truly benefit the residents and the visitors of Bristol Borough. It's an immediate text notification to your phone. If you download the app, you'll get an app notification. And there's also an email and voice portion for those who may not have texting capabilities. But it's mainly going to be used through text, the app, and the email portion of Nixle. So those at home can see that you can text the word Bristol Borough with BORO to 888-777, and you will get an immediate notification that says, "Welcome to Bristol Borough, info at Nixle." There is the web address that you're going to see at home, and we'll promote this in other businesses and things throughout town. If you don't want to sign up via text, you can go on and sign up via the web. And then you can also, like I said, download the Everbridge app, which will provide you app notifications. The other benefit of this is if you're somebody that has a vacation home or you travel to different areas, don't be afraid to search for other zip codes and municipalities, because if it's somewhere that you frequent often, they may also already be signed up and registered at Nixle, and you can get their notifications as well. But we just believe that this is really going to provide a good amount of information to our residents and to people visiting Bristol Borough, and it's something that can only benefit everyone coming into town and everyone that lives here, and we look forward to seeing everyone sign up and taking advantage of the information that we can provide. And if anybody has any questions?
Sounds great.
So basically, we want to do, Matt, I guess, will be showing
Matt's
this.
showing this on the screen at home. He's going to put it on the website, and then we haven't finalized the other marketing portion, but we're going to come up with something that we can put in the windows in the businesses, different restaurants, the borough signs, just to really get the message out there. And if you're able to do it and your friends and family haven't heard about it, don't be afraid to grab their cell phone or let them know about how they can sign up, because it's a simple text message is the easiest way to get them on board to join the Nixle system.
So I guess everybody could share this on Facebook, and
Yep.
I think it's great because the last time if there was a major flood down there, Merle, there was a guy that was eating in one of the restaurants, and the water came up so fast, his car was underwater. And like my son said, if all the restaurants put this in their windows or try to promote this, he may have gotten an alert saying, the water's coming up, you need to move your vehicle. So there are a lot of people that live on Mill Street or they go away for the weekend. I think this is going to be a major tool for flooding for people that park down there also. So, the chief has availability to post things, the mayor does, Merle does. So I think this is a big thing that's going to help this town out a lot. And again, it's very easy to do. 888-777. Okay? Betty I thought you were already doing it.
Checking my sugars.
Okay. You have anything else?
Just did.
Mayor, Joe?
I just wanted to remind everybody that the Please Trading Card Contest is on now. The kids should be collecting all 18 cards. We have until November 30th. The first 3 kids that come forward will get a prize. The first prize will be an Xbox. The second prize will be a Nintendo Switch. And the third prize will be an Amazon gift card. So we have to the 30th, so get your cards. The officers are out there with their cards.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lorraine?
I ran into the manager of No Run, Manny, his name is, and he asked me if I wanted to tour No Run. And I said I would love to. So I went over, and what I wanted to tell people is next month I will have a website for people that want to get a job or looking for a job. Hopefully I'll have a website, they said I would. That you can go on and apply for a job at No Run. And I was able to go inside and see the beautiful apartments that they have. Some of them are doubles and some are singles. They're gorgeous, and they also have two patios. One is in the parking area, like near the parking area, the front on the bottom level, and one is on the upper level. They're putting a patio up there as well. You know, I saw like it's moving forward, thank God. And I just wanted to tell everybody that, you know, as soon as I have that website, I'll let everyone know about it. You know, and that's all I have.
Craig?
So I have, as we mentioned the last couple of meetings, I've been working on the tree lighting that is coming up the day after Thanksgiving. So I wanted to give out a few details of that tonight. There are still some things that we're working out, so we have a meeting on Wednesday night, a few of us that are putting our minds together to kind of finalize the details. But the big items we've got locked in, and I'm excited to kind of announce that it'll be a little different than some of the tree lightings in the past. Most notably, we're going to have two live performances. One is from a singer-songwriter named Ginger Coyle. If you get a chance to look her up, she's really cool. She's kind of like a crooner style, jazzy singer that'll do some traditional Christmas carol types of songs, but she's very good. And then I'm very excited to announce that our headlining act at the tree lighting is going to be Don McCluskey, who is a Bristol native. And I think most of us know Don or know his family or know about him. But I just wanted to go over a little bit about his accomplishments so you know why it's a little bit of a bigger deal than just a local guy that's coming to play some songs. So Don McCluskey is an eclectic singer-songwriter and performing artist whose work has appeared in the Oscar award-winning film Bowling for Columbine, TV series It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, MTV The Hills, streaming series Mythic Quest on Apple TV, Audible's 64th Man, national ad campaigns, terrestrial radio, Apple Podcasts, and he has garnered over 1 million streams on Spotify alone. But he's most known for his electrifying live performances where he sells out venues in New York, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Boston, and beyond. In addition to headlining sold-out shows of his own, he has toured nationally with diverse groups of artists from Wu-Tang Clan to The Roots, to Donovan Frankenreiter, to the White Buffalo, to G-Love and Special Sauce, and he's recently toured with the cast of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I was lucky enough to see him actually play at the Met, which is a big-time theater in Philadelphia that has been refurbished lately. So Don's great. If you don't know about him, I would highly recommend that you go check him out on Spotify now, just kind of get used to him and know what he does. But he puts on a very, very good show. He's going to be doing Christmas music and a few of his originals, and it's really going to be a nice event. We also have other things going on. We're going to have some of our local food vendors, some people from like Papa's Pretzels will be there. We're going to have some other options. We also have a couple of local craft vendors that'll be bringing some Christmas-themed things to our small Christmas village. And by the way, we are looking for a few other Christmas vendors. So if you want to reach out and to me, you can email me. My email address is on the borough website, or you can reach out through Facebook or other avenues, or anyone else up here that can get you in touch with me. It starts at 6:30, and you know, if it's weather like this, it won't be an issue at all, obviously. But dress warm, because it might be a little bit longer than just the, hey, show up, light the tree. There's going to be a lot of events, a lot of festivities going on. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of very family friendly, but really will transcend all kinds of age groups. And I think it's going to be a really special night in Bristol Borough, and we're really excited about it. So starts at 6:30, and the tree lighting will happen shortly thereafter. Oh, and Santa Claus will certainly make a special appearance at some point. That's all I have.
So, do you want to give a time for the tree lighting? Like,
I'm not prepared to do that, to be honest with you. There's still a few
well,
other,
if we meet Monday, we may be able to announce
yeah,
it.
there's still a few other planning items before I say exactly what time they're like.
Michael, what do you have?
I think I'm good.
Louis? Maria? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said,
No, I just wanted to just quickly, I just wanted to thank the Historic Society for Bristol Day. They had another very successful Bristol Day, along with the house tours in the street and the car show and the boat show. It was really an exceptional day. And Gene made mention of it, but I bring it out a little further. The library, Grundy Library roof is nearing completion, and they're working on the inside, and it looks like the library is going to be open by the end of the year. So everything's working well there, and the museum is done. They had an event Friday night that had people from Bristol and from out of the area come in, and Visit Bucks was there, and it was very successful showing here over in the borough. So that's it for me now.
Maria?
The only thing that I have is I do have an update on the North Ward cleanup. It will be on April 15th, rain date April 16th. And the time will, right now we have it for 10 to 2. We are looking for volunteers and sponsors. So if you would like to volunteer or sponsor, send me an email. My email is on the borough's website, or you can email Brian as well.
Thank you. Betty?
Yeah, I just want to thank our chief and his staff, the policemen. On Halloween, I thought it was really nice to see kids were out trick-or-treating, and the police were actually pulling up in their cars and giving out candy from their cars. So that's always nice to see. I also would like to thank you for taking care of a little issue we had on Buckley Street with the kids not being able to walk on the sidewalk because of the construction, and making sure that the kids were safe getting home. That's always important. My biggest thing in this town is safety, especially for the kids. So thank you for that. Other than that, I don't have anything.
We're moving along. Okay, couple things. One, the street sweeper ends, so everybody knows, Friday, November 18th. So the street sweeper will end on Friday, November 18th. We're still trying to get the leaf machine out to pick up leaves. They're falling late this year with the weather and all. So we're trying to run them up and down the street the day there's no sweeper. So we're doing the best we can to get them picked up. But everybody has in their packet, and it's also on TV, right? The schedule, I think it's every Thursday you can put the leaves out in bags. They'll pick them up, and there's one Thursday that they won't because it's Thanksgiving. They'll pick it up that Saturday, and I'm only going by memory. The Christmas tree lighting that Greg talked about is Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, November 25th, starting at 6:30. The Christmas parade is Saturday, November 26th. So that's the day after the tree lighting is the parade. In everybody's packet, there was a 2023 proposal for the road programs. If everybody gets a chance to look at them roads and make suggestions, if you want to add to them roads, or if you want to ride around your ward, maybe you could call Mr. Dillon and say, we think this street would get done, it needs it. And that's something we could discuss. Gilmore will go out and assess all these roads and come up with some budget numbers to get them done. We discussed the Nexel program. Mr. Dillon, I know, worked very hard on this budget along with our accountant, Angie, and we're glad to say that there will be no tax increase for 2023. So, but the budget looks pretty good, and we should be in pretty good shape. Mr. Dillon, you want to touch on anything? I know you worked hard on this thing. I think he's a magician, so I don't know how we keep doing it. I really didn't have a lot of time to put into it because how busy I've been, but I've all the confidence in the world in what he does. And all I know, there's not a tax increase for '23, and to me, that's all that matters. So, thank you for everything you do. Anything else?
Can I just
I
say
know.
one thing, the rain date, should there be one for, the tree lighting, will actually be on Sunday. I think that's true of the parade as well, is that right?
Yes.
So if, in the event that there is rain, on both days, then we'll have the parade by day and the tree lighting by night. Hopefully we don't run into that.
When the parade ends, the tree lighting will start, somewhere in
Yeah.
that. And if everybody signs up for this Nexel system, that's some way that you would get an alert immediately. So that's the other plus. If everybody just joins this program, we would say tree lighting's at 7 o'clock, and everybody that signed up will get it. And it's instant. So, Mr. Pezza, sorry, I...
Get a response.
Good evening, Bill Pezza, Pond Street, President of Bristol Borough Raising the Bar. It's a pleasure to be back here. It's been a little while, and I'm going to be brief because I know you've done a lot and you have a lot more to do. But before I comment on why I came tonight, I want to say that, you know, success breeds success. And what we saw happen tonight, the grants, the projects they're going to bring to fruition, that doesn't happen by accident, because the borough has established, you, Ralph, the council, the manager, the solicitor, you've established a track record of excellence, you've established one of professionalism, that you know how to go get money, but you also know how to expend it, you also know how to account for it, and I think agencies that know that that's going to be the case are much more willing to look at applications favorably. So a lot of congratulations goes to you, and I know that there are some people, there's some young people on Pond Street and Jefferson Avenue will be very thrilled when those buildings come down, because you've been at it for over a decade, and many of them have been living with it, so.
They're coming down.
It's great, they're coming down. I missed Elm Street, so I want to be there when Chestnut comes down, right? Anyway, I want to say that. You know, we are coming off, this has been a great spring and summer. We're coming off some really good time. It seems like we're finally in the post-pandemic, not medically, we still need to get our vaccinations and all that stuff, but in terms of economically, in terms of what we're doing on the street, I think we're out of it, and it was a great spring, it was a great summer. We had the festivals came back, the doo-wop concert, I think that was the best closing I ever saw in a doo-wop concert. Lou mentioned Historic Bristol Day. I think it was the best one we ever had. Just so many positive things are happening. Last week, the Lions sponsored a Booze and Brews, a Halloween thing where you could visit different restaurants and have a good time. The street was jammed, and people are coming to Bristol, and they like what they see. And that's all the good news. Now, not to say bad news, but you know, we turned the clocks back this weekend, so it's going to get darker earlier, and it's going to get colder. I mean, I know it's going to get colder sooner or later. And we're not going to enter into a long, dark winter. So we want to make sure, Raising the Bar, I subscribe to the adage that I learned from Lou Catroci years ago, the day you stop moving forward is the day you start sliding backward. Right, Lou? So I like to think of that, we like to think of that as a board in terms of what can we do to keep the buzz alive in Bristol Borough? What can we do to build upon the positive track record we've garnered and the way the county now views us compared to the way it used to view us, you know, X number of years ago. So what we have in mind is that, and we're going to do, after months of discussions with the manager and the president and different council people, we are going to install 2,000 cafe lights, programmable cafe lights on Mill Street. They're going to run down both sides of the sidewalk, all the way down the street, and then they're going to turn and do the 100 block of Ratcliffe Street. And these lights are programmable, so not only is the street going to be brighter, which is always good for a sense of security and a sense of safety, but also, because they're programmable, and we're going to do this sparingly because we think white is the most tasteful color, but when we want to, for example, we could push a button, And Mill Street will be green on St. Patty's Day. It will be red on St. Valentine's Day. It will be red, white, and blue on the 4th of July. And it's going to be a cool thing. It's going to be an attraction. It's going to be another little thing that when people come to town and they see it, they're going to say, we don't have that, and Bristol does. So we're proud of that. That it is being financed entirely by Raising the Bar. We've contracted with Reese Lighting, which used to be, Chuck Reese used to be the lighting director for the theater. He's going to do the installation. We've already purchased all the materials. The installation will start this week, and it will be finished by November 20th. So we're very excited about that. I wanted to let those of you who weren't fully versed in that know, and also let the public know, because they're going to start seeing it happening. The other thing I want to say is that, again, the idea of just keeping the move forward, last year we had a breakfast. We called it a leadership breakfast. The theme was Destination Bristol, and we met with 30 business leaders from the commercial district and talked about what we could do to continue to market Bristol, how we can get ourselves in the news, how we can push our website, how can we push our Raising the Bar Facebook group, which is all positive stuff, just what's going on. And so we're going to have another one. We're going to have one on Wednesday, the 16th, I guess it is, November 16th. Mayor Di Giuseppe is going to come. Chief Moores is going to come to meet with the business owners as well, to greet them and share some things, and we're looking forward to that as well. So some positive things. We want to keep the buzz going. We appreciate the cooperation of the borough in letting us do this, and again, we're paying for it completely in terms of the installation and the materials, and we look forward to something really cool.
I know we say this a lot, but thank you for your hard work and dedication, because that street wouldn't be where it is without your leadership.
It's our pleasure. We have a good team of people working. I don't want to say one thing. I don't want to embarrass him, but in the far corner here is Alan Hermeline, is it, Alan? Alan Hermeline. Alan's new to town. He's been here a while, and first time I met him, he said, I want to get involved in town. How do I get involved in Raising the Bar? And he said, there's no dues, there's no handshake, there's no secret initiation. You just step up and do something. And I'm thinking that Greg's going to need some people to do some things for the tree lighting, moves things or whatever, and Alan likes to work. So I don't want to volunteer him, but Alan, you might want to get involved that way. And his wife, Trish, is very good as well. So welcome to town, and thank you very much.
Wednesday night, 7:30, we'll be there.
So before we adjourn, I'm sorry, I didn't do public participation, which was supposed to be in the beginning, so if you want to speak on anything, go to the podium.
Come up to the podium so they can hear you.
Okay, just brief, folks, since I've been called. Yes, I just recently moved here, and from Texas. I used to live here years ago, and I moved back for family. But I have to say, I am seriously impressed by the cohesiveness, by the quality of life, by everything that Bristol offers. And I even tell that to my friends and family. So, in all honesty, thanks for having such a great town that really is a destination. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So does anybody else want to speak on public participation? Nobody, so that's the end of public participation. And the last thing I want to say, we were in executive session discussing possible litigation, and that's it, right? Anything else? And personnel. So that's what our executive session was for this evening. So with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Wait, hold it.
The agenda.
Sorry. That means we're not coming back probably next week, right?
Unless you want to.
No, we'll do it now, just in case.
Do it now.
All right. So let's go to our agenda,
Mr. President,
number 2 on the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to accept council meeting minutes for September 12th, 2022, and October 3rd, 2022. To accept the treasurer's report for August 2022, to accept the public works report for September and October 2022, to accept the inspection report for September and October 2022, to accept the police report for September and October 2022, to accept the fire chief's report for September and October 2022, and to accept the hard report for September 2022.
Second by Mr. Pezza. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 3.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the preliminary 2023 municipal budgets.
Do I have a second by Mr. Catroci? Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 4.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the advertising notice of preliminary municipal budgets being available for public view.
Second by Ms. Cullen. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 5.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize advertising ordinance establishing the tax rates for the 2023 fiscal year.
Second by Ms. Rodriguez. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 6.
President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize advertising ordinance imposing assessment for the removal of garbage and refuse within Bristol Borough for the year 2023.
Second by Maria. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 7.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize general release agreement for Justin Gross settlement.
Second by Mr. Pezza. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 8.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize a 5-year lease agreement with Bucks County Housing Authority for use of Unit 1512 at 205 Pond Street, Grundy High Rise, for emergency communication equipment.
Second by Mrs. Cullen. Questions or comments? I just like to make a comment on this. For way before any of us ever got involved, up on top of Grundy Towers is emergency communications, that if we lose our radio system, they can still work, the police, fire, rescue can work off of these towers that are up on Grundy, on top of the building. So they need to put a new roof on the building. So they wanted us to remove all the equipment, Verizon's up there and there's some other companies, and then put it back later on. And we went back and forth, and they were generous enough, because we talked to them and they said, could we have a room, an apartment, to move everything inside? So if there's a problem, Merle or Bill Ferguson don't have to go up on this roof in the dead of the winter or whatever and try to fix this communication stuff. So we're entering into a 5-year agreement. We're paying $1,000 a month for the room, and it goes up by 2 or 3% every year. I don't know, I think it's better than doing what we were doing, correct, Merle? So that's what that's about. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 9.
President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the bid to repair the Borough Hall roof, eaves, trowels, skylight, chimney, lower rear flat roof, and clock tower in the amount of $18,441.61.
Second by Mr. Gorman. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 9.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize advertising ordinance to recognize the Bristol Borough Fire Association at ordinance 1-701 for the purpose of facilitating the consolidation of the 4 fire companies and the acquisition of a centrally located firehouse facility.
Second by Mr. Catroci. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 10.
I think it's 11, right?
Yeah, 11.
11.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize awarding lowest responsible bidder at Good Tone Incorporated for 1198 North Cedar Street Stream Bank Stabilization Contract number 22-01229 in the amount of $126,708.67, contingent upon the receipt of funding from Fannie Mae in the amount of $19,677.17 to cover the portion of the project not covered by grant funding.
Second by Ms. Rodriguez. So Kurt, you or Amanda want to touch on this project to let everybody know what's going on?
So this is a property at 1198 North Cedar. I think I spoke about it previously, but there was a stream bank collapse that happened in the major storm The borough worked really quickly to try to find funding to stabilize the house so the resident who was displaced from the house could move back in, and unfortunately, we weren't able to do that timely enough where he actually ended up going into foreclosure and Fannie Mae took the property over. But since we had already got the ball rolling with grants and we were able to secure the grants, we went ahead with the borough's permission and with Mr. Salerno's good work at cooperating with Fannie Mae and getting them the secure side agreements where Fannie Mae's covering all of our costs, they're covering any other costs incurred to the borough. So ultimately, for maybe like $30,000 out of pocket of Fannie Mae, they're able to use this grant funding to construct this stabilized embankment, and probably around beginning like January, February of '23, the property should then be able to get resold as a habitable home and reoccupied, so it doesn't fall into blight or disrepair like it would otherwise probably end up doing.
So everybody worked pretty hard to get this done pretty
Yes.
quick.
Yep.
Any questions on this property? All in favor? Opposed?
Mr. President, I make a motion to authorize a resolution for the Borough Solicitor to file a petition with the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, PLCB, to exempt a specific area of the Borough of Bristol from the PLCB's regulations regarding amplified music being heard off the licensed premises in favor of enforcing the borough's own previously adopted new noise ordinance.
Second by Ms. Rodriguez.
I just wanted to say I'm going to not vote on this. My wife is the owner of a liquor license.
You want me to explain that?
Yeah.
Okay, so, about this time last year, the borough filed a petition with the LCB to exempt the borough from, or for the licensees in the town center to be exempted from the noise regulations by the LCB in favor of using the borough's noise ordinance. And the concern was that the LCB's restrictions were tighter than the borough's, and also it was enforced by the state police, which on a couple occasions they came from Harrisburg and were in the tavern, and I think the licensees felt uncomfortable with that. So I think everyone agreed in the TC Center, I think there's 5 licensees, that this would be good. Unfortunately, the exemption only lasts a year. It will expire in February. So one of the licensees approached the borough and said, can we do this again? I believed all the other licensees were copied. I don't know. I'm going to reach out to them. Greg, did you see that request by?
I didn't, but my wife may have.
Okay. Anyway, we're going to make sure nobody objects to it, but I don't see why they would. The borough's taking care of it. There'll be a hearing. The theater last year offered us the atrium for the hearing. I'm going to ask them again. But this is just an authorization for me to file that petition again so we can get the exemption by the expiration date of February 23. And by the way, even though it was converted to the borough noise ordinance, I'm not aware there being any issues, any complaints, any citations. So it worked out well.
Okay, with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Can I get now a motion to adjourn? Motion by Lorraine, second by Mr. Gattrich. Time to go eat.